Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Zen Blonde podcast. It's your girl, Lauren, and today I am joined by a very special guest. So my guest today has absolutely taken TikTok by storm with his rendition of Rich White Lady. You may know him for long sighs, broken wine glasses, and essentially just being every single character on Big Little Lies and Rich White Lady TV shows you've ever seen. Welcome to the show, Nicholas Flannery.
Hey, hey, hey.
I cannot believe I'm seeing the Rich White Mom in real life. And I mean, it's just amazing. How did you come up with this character and who are you?
I think I came up with the character. It's really just an homage to all of the amazing women that took me through childhood and teenagehood on TV. So anyone from Sex and the City or Desperate Housewives, Big Little Lies, all of those 13 going on 30, all those movies that we all grew up watching. It's really just an homage to all of those characters. A little bit making fun of the production factor in looking into these kind of movie tropes that are repetitive, but mostly just kind of having fun with it and having like a pop culture moment. And I'm just a simple boy from England.
Where in England are you? Because it looks like you're in a beautiful countryside area when I see your videos.
I am in the countryside. It's currently raining. I can hear it on my ceiling, so very on brand for England. But I'm in Yorkshire, so it's northern England, near to Leeds, major city, or Harrogate, kind of nearest town.
See, and none of us would have known that you were from England because when you do your rich white lady impressions, you do such a stunning American accent that I would have thought that you were from the East Coast or something.
I think that stems from I have a couple of really good friends that live in America, so I speak to them in the US. I speak to them every day, like via voice notes. So I'm constantly talking with them. Obviously, everything that I grew up watching has kind of influenced that. And then me and my best friend like go in and out of like an American accent, even though she's British as well. And we just kind of have fun with it while we're talking. And I think it's just developed so much that I actually am probably better at an American accent than an English one anymore.
Well, I feel like every day you were channeling this American woman. I saw most recently you did a Wendy Williams, how she walks onto set. And I just think the little moments that you notice and bring onto TikTok are so brilliant and hilarious. Were you a comic before you got on TikTok, or did you just start doing comedy videos when you got onto the app out of pandemic boredom?
I mean, I'd like to think I was a comic before. I certainly think I'm funny. I'd say when you just feel like that's one thing I can compliment myself on, I feel like I am a funny person. However, I have no performing training. I have no stand up, nothing like that. Um, just, I guess, yeah, a bit of pandemic boredom, and then I kind of found a little tribe and definitely ran with it. I think the smart thing that I did at the time was to just post like 150 videos in a row, and that's what kind of kept the momentum going. I really struck the iron while it was hot when it went viral.
Absolutely. Was it deep pandemic when you started it?
I started in 2021 in like January or February, and then by April it went viral. So I'm not expecting it. I was posting things like my favorite smoothie, me just gardening, what like during the pandemic, and then the Big Little Lies theme music came up on my For You page, and I was like, they're always stood clutching their cardigan like at a beach house with wind in their hair. And I was like, well, there's some railings at the front of my house that look a little nautical. So I went out and took one video, and I was on the phone with my friend. It was on like 100,000 views. I was like, whoa, this is insane. And then after I'd finished on the phone, it had gotten to like a million. And then I was like, what do I do next? So I just did it.
It just all went from there. I feel like you need to make a
Uh-huh.
cameo in a Nancy Meyers movie, and she has a new movie that's in the works for Netflix, and I feel like you need to make a cameo.
I really like see that I need to have a character somewhere. That needs to be happening. Like every time someone's like, "You need to be in a movie," I like at Netflix every single time someone says that, and I'm just like still waiting.
Oh my God, I don't know if you watched Father of the Bride, but the Franz character, whatever his name was, where he's like, mother and daughter are pregnant at the same time. Like you could be like the party planner that comes in or something. You just need one little
Yes,
cameo.
I love that. Or like, I feel like if Big Little Lies did season three, I feel like we need like a LGBTQ couple that are like on the beach as well. Like I could be the nosy gay neighbor or something.
Yes. Oh my God, that would be so perfect. I hope that they give us a season three, but I feel like it's been a hot minute since I've seen anything from
I
Big Little
know,
Lies.
I know.
Um,
Oh well.
I know. I know. I met Laura Dern at work once, and she was lovely,
Oh
and
wow.
I had to like reel it in. You know what I mean? Because I
Mm-hmm.
absolutely love that show. So you obviously have been inspired by all these shows. Like it didn't even occur to me that people in the UK would get Wendy Williams on their TVs. Like what kind of stuff are you watching, or what's your favorite show?
We have, it's so funny because there's what's crossing my mind is there's a morning television show after the main morning television show called Loose Women in the UK. And I remember when Wendy went on like 11 years ago and did an interview, and one of the girls was like, "Oh, so your TV show is going to be on Bet," like that. And then she was like, "Yeah, BET." And then I was just like, so embarrassing. But we do get Wendy Williams on BET, which is like a recent station that's been added. But I used to just watch it on YouTube during university or college. And so I kind of watched Wendy between like 2014 to 2016, like nonstop, and just really got a lot of the nuances then. Um, I think if you want to watch a lot of the American shows, you have to really try. Now everything's becoming streaming and a lot more available, but back in the day, maybe we watched a few non-official movies that were available to us online through different certain websites that might not have been the best. But they're getting better, and I think if you wanted to watch them, you found a way.
Absolutely. I mean, I imagine though you might be like a very rare person that's sitting there like watching Wendy Williams in the UK. Like, do you know anyone else that watches it? Probably not, right?
There were maybe I could count on my hand about three or four people in my high school that knew of Wendy Williams that like watched at the time. That was about it. Um, Otherwise, it was people that were kind of pop culture there were would watch, and otherwise people didn't have a clue.
Because Wendy's iconic and Wendy says really off the cuff things, and like she does not have that European politeness about her. Like she just goes there. Like I don't even know. I guess the only European talk show host I could think of who might go as, I don't want to say below the belt, but like a Piers Morgan might just go there in a
Yeah,
completely
pushes
different
those
way.
boundaries. I think it's definitely something that's needed. I think we have a couple of different characters on television that very much fit that kind of role as they're kind of pushing the boundaries, and they make, they say nine things, and those nine things are funny, but then that one thing is just like that. I think that we need more of like someone like Wendy. We definitely need someone to kind of push those boundaries and make those jokes and say what we're all thinking sometimes.
You know what? I think they should put you on TV over there. I think that's the solution. I was also thinking, like, wouldn't it be great if you did like a rich white lady retreat where you just were in character the entire time and you took people to a vineyard, and then it was like performance art where like you come out for like the wine tasting, and you break the glass.
Literally, literally. No, it needs to be like oh God, Nine Perfect Strangers, but like without the kind of psychotics and craziness. It just is like these are the nine perfect strangers that I'm taking on, but like I just take you through like the craziness of like I'll just leave through one door and then like rich white lady's daughter walks in like after me and I'm just like, ugh, where's my mom?
Well, and that's the
This is
thing.
definitely a business idea. I'm gonna write this down.
I no, I think that listen. I would be on the retreat. It could be like one part performance art, like one part wine tasting, and like vineyard experience, and this like vacation
Hmm.
with the rich white lady. And that's the funny thing is, so
Just
you
pay
bring
to
in
get
other
insulted.
characters. Like now we know her family. Now we know her daughter. Her daughter is now going to Euphoria High School, and you did
It's
a
true.
burn
I
book on
mean,
Nate Jacobs.
I did. I did. That was one of my fun moments. Definitely kind of a complex video to get together because of the audio matching up, but definitely worth it and fun.
Yeah, because you edit things so thoughtfully. Like most recently, I also saw you did a video with like a disheveled detective, and there is that trope. Like in Miss Congeniality, there was that trope of like
Yeah.
Sandra Bullock was this like disheveled detective, and you even kind of messed up the hair in the back, and I was like, he got
Yeah.
everything perfectly down. And she just walks in and she looks in her fridge, and whatever's in the fridge smells, and she throws it out, and then she calls the Chinese food place, and she's like saying her order, and they know who it is. And but that's
Yeah.
also like I feel like a mayor of Easttown trope. Like it
Sex in the
does
City as well.
like a
That's
Miranda.
Miranda. She calls the the Chinese place, and it's like a whole episode about her laughing about it. But yeah,
Yeah, it's so funny how there's like these consistent things through TV, and then also I think like the women like kind of pulling their cardigan shut, having somebody arrive at the door. I mean, I was talking to my producer when I came in. I was like, I remember the first time I saw one of your videos, and it was when you did the video about like rich white lady goes back to her hometown. And the rich white lady
right.
gets in the cab, and the cab driver's like, "Where to?" And she's just like readjusts her cardigan. She's like, "Home," you know,
I'm
as
going
if he's
home.
supposed to know
Cab driver's
where.
like, the fuck?
And that got reposted everywhere. I mean, you've been on like I feel like every big Instagram, like
Like
Betches, I
meme
know has
page, yeah.
reposted you. You've been kind of everywhere. So what has that been like for you? Because you kind of just exploded over the pandemic on social media. Like, did you have a bunch of followers when you started this, or did it just explode overnight on Instagram and TikTok?
It really was definitely an overnight thing. And actually, Instagram took a while to catch up, and Instagram's really been doing amazing lately in terms of like consistency and a couple of the new series that I'm doing. But uh, I mean, I had something like 10 or 11,000 followers on Instagram, which is definitely like a lot. And I was very content and happy with it. And I was just like, let me see what this TikTok. It was like a lot of millennials. Well, kind of on that borderline between millennial and Gen Z, but I just trying to make myself younger. And so I was like, let me see what this TikTok thing is. It's like Vine, and I just found it so funny and such a free for all where it was no judgment and just kind of like do what you want. And it just took off overnight. And then, like as I said, by the time people were finding me on Instagram, I was like kind of mass posting the rich white lady on Instagram to like catch up like 20 videos later to be like, oh, by the way, everyone that has been following me for years, I've been doing this on TikTok and it's gone like viral. So definitely people reaching out and like different celebrities that I've seen comment on videos, I'm like, this is not happening. So I was definitely shocked by that. I'm humbled by it, and I appreciate all of the support I've had by everyone. And thankfully, it's really been a very positive experience. I can't say that I see hate or anything like that, really.
I mean, who could hate? Your videos are just so hilarious.
I
And
think,
I
well,
had a
that's the
similar
thing,
experience.
and I think because it's a character, it's maybe safe. It's in like a little safe thing because it's like, hi, laugh at me, this is a joke, rather than like, this is actually me, which I mean, parts of it is me.
Totally, totally. And I think that's the interesting thing too about you is like you are this character, but like I didn't even know that you were from the UK. You know what I mean? It's never like you've popped on and broken character and said like, "Hey guys, like so I'm out here in England and like this is my day in my life." Do you have like a job outside of this, or have you taken Rich White Lady full time?
It's full-time content creation now, so just trying to get forward with that and hopefully just keep the ball rolling, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely on that level, and the way that you shoot things is so intelligent. So like, when you're looking for inspiration, are you like, okay, like I'm running dry on content. I'm gonna go and watch like 15 movies from the year like 2003, or like, what's your creative process like?
I mean, I have a note in my phone that's like 300 TikTok concepts long, probably ish. And then I have like a separate note that's like, what am I going to film today? And I'm picking things from it. So if I'm just watching something randomly, I'll just be like, that's a funny line. I need to write that line down at least. And then either make it my own, or even like I was at my grandmother's and she was saying something like, oh, when you get older, you get invisible. And then my mother was like, huh? And I was just like, that's hilarious. I need to write that down. So it's everyday life. And then I will say though, in the last year, I've had to kind of step out of my shell of just watching the same like 5 shows that are like comfort shows for me, and watch new things. And I've watched like a good 10 to 20 new shows in research purposes and revisiting things. Like I downloaded because this new series that I have, the like stressed out detective series that you mentioned about the refrigerator and things, I put on Miss Congeniality 2 to see the beginning scene with her like waiting for the guy for the date and like speaking to him on the phone and like just trying to get some reference points and how she's doing her hair and like the ridiculousness of like, oh, she's got glasses and a ponytail, but when she takes them off suddenly she's beautiful, but before she's hideous, it's horrible. So it's a couple of little different things where I'm pulling from. And obviously I have some amazing friends that are like, you should do this, or people commenting saying, oh, you forgot this in the video, and I'm like, thanks, I'll put that in the next one. So it's all different types of media and all different types of sources.
And it really is helpful, like the comment section. Like I always end up finding content from the comment section, and people like cluing me in on little things that are going on. So it's definitely super, super helpful.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think one of your big inspirations has to be Nicole Kidman, because whenever I watch her stuff, I'm thinking like Nicole Kidman. I could even see like a Jane Fonda type character. Do you ever think that the rich white lady might like get gray hair? Might you do an older Jane Fonda or somebody in that sort of vein of rich white lady?
I definitely think that there's a character within me. I mean, I had crazy mother-in-law who unfortunately has passed, but maybe she'll return. But she always had a hat on. So I like the idea of him. I do have a grey wig that I used for one video as Rich White Lady's mother, but I didn't quite continue with that. But I feel like a nice, short, choppier Jane Fonda style wig with maybe a little bit more of the kind of older Hollywood tropes or anything. I mean, Monster-in-Law. There's so, in fact, I've used some stuff from Monster-in-Law, but I didn't have gray hair. But definitely, I think in the future, as the kind of arc of the story develops, I could see that character coming through.
Monster-in-Law is like one of my favorite movies, and like
Yeah.
just Jane Fonda like showing up at J Lo's wedding, wearing like a white dress, this like beautiful white dress, and like all those little tropes and them drugging each other and everything. I think that's so funny. I did remember you had a
Amazing.
video where you broke an urn, and you're breaking stuff constantly. So like, are you like, do you have to like break things twice to get the shot? Like, do you have to get doubles of like?
There, there have been times where I have like messed up the shot or the camera was not in focus or the white, even so much as like if I had this and it just broke here and like so it's just the stem and the glass but like everything else is intact. I've had that happen and I'm like, all right, pass me another wine glass. So I have like a little cupboard of breakable things, mostly chipped X items that we usually have had in the house. Or like even for my birthday, someone sent me like 6 wine glasses and they were like, feel free to break them. And I was just like, thank you so much. So I have like a little repertoire of breakable things. But then like with the urn, for example, I was literally just like, I need an urn to break. And so, so I found something on Amazon that was kind of cheap, but I was just like, all right, let's see. And then I had to take, it wasn't real human ashes. Obviously, I had to like light a fire and like burn down this wood. It was like very technical.
God, that is so funny. And I actually think like the rich white lady could become British too at some point. Like, I do feel like she's that Big Little
Like
Lies character.
Madonna-esque.
Like, I'm thinking even like Kate Middleton and her friends. Like, they're so rich.
Hmm.
They're so inaccessibly rich that I don't even know if anyone could pretend to be them. They're so rich. It'd be
Exactly.
hard.
It's
Like, I
mhm.
don't know if you saw in the States, Nicola Peltz and Brooklyn Beckham got married this week. It was like Victoria Beckham's son.
I heard something. Yeah. It
So
was like
she,
$4 million or something on the
oh yeah,
wedding.
huge wedding, $4 million. They tented like the entire Palm Beach waterfront of their home. That was like some ridiculous amount of money. And I believe their dad is Snapple money. They're worth like $1.7 billion. So technically, Brooklyn Beckham
Wow.
is marrying up, but she would be a good rich white lady because she does this thing where she doesn't show expressions. And I've been like, why in her, she did the Vogue, like, Get Ready With Me thing, and I was like, why doesn't she move her face? But like I've heard that it's a technique to try to prevent your skin from wrinkling. So when she's talking, she'll be like very like non-expressive. And even on her wedding day, there's only one smiling photo, one of her entire wedding that I've seen. Like she is just does not want to wrinkle her skin apparently. But the other great thing about her is, for Rich White Lady, is she and I mean this is a horrible thing, but it's widely reported that she would not torture, but be awful to her nannies for sport. And there's a story about her allegedly pushing one down the stairs. I know.
Wow.
And that could
Death becomes the nanny? I don't know.
You have to go online and read it all, because I had read these stories and then I saw that she was dating Brooklyn Beckham, and I was like, this is a whole vibe here, you know, and it's not like it's just like in the blind items, it's on like Gawker and these other.
Can't wait for the biopic.
Oh my God, can you imagine? So
unbelievable.
No, it's so crazy, and you know, you just wonder, they're 23 and 27, like that's pretty young to get married, so you just wonder. But there was an ironclad prenup that was signed, so I think regardless everyone will be okay, but you know, wish them well. But
it's insane. I can't. It's just this kind of strange bubble that seems impermeable to kind of anyone. I guess it's, you have to have a big checkbook to get into it. I don't know her. I know Brooklyn Beckham, as in I don't know them, but I don't know them personally. But I had not really heard of her that much. I think I'd heard something about Brooklyn Beckham's like ex dating people, but there's a lot of like blonde white women that are just kind of floating around the ether. These rich people that we don't really know much about, that are just kind of mysterious and just kind of. But I feel like anti-aging. Listen, we all love a good anti-aging moment. No one wants to age that I know of, but that might be taking it too far, just to kind of.
it could literally be a video like where you're like, get ready with me, and then you're like, okay, so no expression, no crinkling of the eyes, no.
Like, this is how I eat because I don't want to stretch my mouth and like.
So what are the? Can we do a Rich White Lady together? Can you do one for me?
I mean, we could.
I
wish I had. I have props here. You know, I have a fake checkbook. I have babies over here. I have a Birkin. I mean, how can we make this work? We have a Jean Harlow robe behind me. We have the cardigan on the other side. I brought props. This is my prop.
You literally
headquarters
are so propped
room.
up. I mean, I'm trying to think of one. I feel like it's just the deep sigh, like I'm your enemy.
Just need to.
And
definitely. I mean, we both came with the like executive realness today, so I love that.
We did. You know, we both kind of look like we're in a Real Housewives, like
confessional.
Confessional. Like, oh my God, I cannot believe Nicola. Yeah, does she have a name?
I can't believe she's pregnant. I mean, how could she put us through that psychological and financial burden? Like, it's. There's actually a video called, I think, JezebelSomething.com. I'll have to send it to you afterwards. And it's like a 2-minute clip of housewives crying through Botox. And it's just this. I can't believe she did this. It's like this kind of weird, like, face where they're all just like.
Because it hurts?
Because they can't move.
Oh my God. And they're in pain because of the Botox? And they're crying?
I don't think they're in pain. I think that they just can't. What happens is they can't move, so like a certain part of their face will just start to move in a very peculiar way, because you know this won't move up, this won't move there. So like eventually it ends up being this kind of like like pained, strange face. I gotta send it to you.
Oh my God, please. Well, that's what I thought Nicola had, and then I saw like this whole article about her not moving her face. Do you watch like Bravo or The Real Housewives? Do you guys get that over there at all? Because I'm a Housewives fanatic.
Oh my God. We have this website in the UK called heyu.com, and that is where you get like last night's show in the US. Otherwise, if you watched it on like regular TV here, you'd be like 2 years behind. So I'm a housewife like whore. So it's excellent. It actually gives great content for like Rich White Lady or any TikToks that I'm doing. Um, what did I watch the most recent? Was it OC that was out the last? OC and New Jersey are on at the moment, I think. And it's the finale of OC this week, I believe. But yeah, it's great. I love it.
I just like love how out of touch they are, and like just it's truly incredible. And like living in LA, I definitely see a lot of people like that. And like I lived in New York City before this, and I had a career in like the special events industry, and a lot of times like our clients were these like really wealthy white ladies, and it was like they were just running on a different like mental plane, and you've captured it so
Yeah.
well. But the Housewives are definitely a great inspiration for that. Like what franchises do you watch?
I don't know how long. It probably will be easier to say what ones I don't watch, which is like, okay. I'm looking forward to Beverly Hills this year because we're getting like the second year of Erica drama. I used to love New York was my favorite franchise for like 10 years, and then it's just kind of
Mm-hmm.
they're in a transitional phase, and they're trying to split it into two shows. New Jersey, I probably started like 4 years ago. OC, Atlanta, obviously. Potomac, I love. I really do watch them all. I think the only one that I really haven't seen a lot of is Miami. I know they've had a reboot. Maybe you care to offer an opinion.
I haven't watched Miami on Peacock, but this year what's exciting is I actually went to a Real Housewives party. So like it was at Sutton's store, so it was for filming, and I could see that like Sutton was fighting with Garcelle, and also it seemed like Kyle was getting into the mix, and it looked like Crystal was involved in the fight. So when I got to the party, I see Crystal, and she's having like a chat with the producer, and like she had a 10-minute pep talk, and like she got away and was like, thanks for the pep talk. So she was clearly like walking into something, right?
Wow.
And then Garcelle kept on getting up and like going to the bar and being like, I'm so sick of these bitches. And like, so I could tell Garcelle was really heated. But the funny thing is that, they have their arguments, right? So the party's going on, and it's a party, and, they're showcasing the store on the show and everything. But it's also like, you're there for filming, So the women, they have a couch and like chairs set up, and they're in their own little corner having these like
Yeah.
discussions, and you'd think that you could hear everything, but to be honest with you, they have a mic pack on, so you can't hear every single little
Yeah.
thing. I, of course, was, trying to listen very closely and get anything that I
Like
could.
paper cup against the wall.
Yeah, and at that point you're kind of out of the shot because they're focused on the women at that table. What was so funny is they were kind of meandering around the store, and the only one that I talked to is Garcelle, and she was lovely.
Yeah.
But my friend Joe is just like such a character, and he'd be like, "Come here, Lauren, like let's look at this dress," and he'd pull me, and we'd be right in the shot behind like Kyle and like Sutton talking, and I'd be like, "Oh my god!" And so there is no chance that we're not in a
Nonchalantly, like
scene
touching the fabric.
of this like dress that I like truly like maybe would buy for like a wedding. I don't know. The clothing was definitely expensive. Beautiful clothing in her store, but like definitely pretty. I need to like afterpay it or something. I don't know.
I saw yesterday that Erica threw Garcelle's book in the trash. And the most surprising thing was not the fact that the book was in the trash. It was the fact that she doesn't recycle. It had a telephone in there, like an old Starbucks book. I was like, what is this 1989 like telephone as well from? I was like, is this from Tom Girardi's office? Like, what is this a Girardi Keys telephone? What's going on here? I was like, okay, next time, like, and there was no bin liner, no trash can, whatever you call them, trash bag. I was like, what's going on here? I wasn't even interested in the drama in the book. I was like, what's in her trash?
No, it's so crazy. Somebody I spoke with saw Garcelle at a restaurant, and she said she looked upset like a few days ago, and I'm like, maybe the drama is spilling over into text messages or something. But yeah, the Erica Jane of it all is very interesting. I was at my friend Ryan Bailey's house, helping him with like TikTok a few weeks ago, and he's a new TikToker, so everyone go follow him. But he won a bunch of stuff at the Tom Girardi auction. So he has like a Bravo museum, and he actually won the red lingerie that was in Tom's office from Agent
No, I was
Provocateur.
just gonna say he did not.
He did. He did. He did. I touched it. There's like a whole. It's like a crotchless
Yeah.
panty
You
situation.
like had latex gloves on. You're like,
I probably should have had some sort of protective barrier between me and that item. Unfortunately, I didn't think of it at the time. But he even had like a picture of this like young girl that's like, thanks, Girardi Keese. And he's like, is this like an orphan or a widow? And like so what he won was this giant oil painting of Tom Girardi and his brothers, giant. I mean, and it's over his bed and it's huge. Okay, it could be in a museum. He has all of these award plaques that he won in a random a box that was like, they'll give you a random box, you pay $150 or dollars or whatever, and then you get what you get. And then he won the red lingerie. And oh my God, it was just like, I couldn't believe I was seeing it in real life. And then he had pictures of Erica Jane as a child, but he's tried to return them to her because he obviously he didn't want to keep those, you know what I mean? But that was part of what was in the box. So it was just wild to see all of it. And what was even crazier was, now the legal case that's happening right now is they're trying to say that Tom Girardi was running a criminal enterprise, not like a law office. And on one of the photos over his picture, it was like the Don was written over Tom, and then it was like consigliere like written over the other people. So it was just a really sketchy situation.
Dodgy situation.
You
I
need
remember
to get like
that
a bleach blonde wig and be Erica sometime.
Tom's house was broken into, and so he confronted the burglar, and then he had to go have eye surgery, and then my son went over to go and help, and then he rolled his car 5 times going down that hill. Yeah, I'm under a lot of stress.
If you do not take this show on the road and come do this on a stage in the US, I'm going to be mad at you.
I mean, that TikTok audio is just insane. It's beyond, and I just love that everyone memorized it. Or at least I did.
Oh no, and the best is the people that had the lawn signs that it's like, in this house we believe that Tom's house was broken into and the burglar, and it was literally like, instead of like, in this house we're like we tolerate everything, like, or we're it's like one
I
of
read
those
the first 6 pages of the like new lawsuit of whatever's being refiled because she was cleared in something and then now it's like, but it makes me laugh because people are like quoting expensive. And they're like, in the song, she states it's expensive to be her. And I'm just like, it's like, can you imagine there's some lawyer just writing this? Well, they wouldn't be doing it in their fine penmanship, but they're like writing this and just being like, I'm not getting paid enough for this.
I mean, what I would give to be like a paralegal that had to review the unedited Housewives footage.
A junior
like,
paralegal that was like putting together the case files.
Oh, I would take that job any day of the week. But
Me
this
too.
season
I'd
of
do it
Beverly
for
Hills
free.
is gonna be great.
Pro bono.
Literally, like, if you're hearing Nicholas and I, like, we are willing to do the research for you.
Court stenographer. I'll be like,
Oh, that'd be so good. I mean, that would just, the information you would get too, like, and it's crazy now that she's being brought up as like an accomplice or whatever, which I wonder how that's all going to go down. But I think we've come into a place with Housewives where there's like a fine line between housewife and criminal. Like, do you watch Salt Lake City at all?
yes. I think they had an excellent second season.
Yeah, they had Jen Shaw getting arrested, and I mean, that was crazy too, because she was running her own little scheme. So it's always interesting to me that these people that are doing like shady things want to even be on TV, but I guess like,
I know.
it's just
bizarre. I mean, I get that, like, I feel like Teresa, that was just odd because she's like carrying around like $100,000 in cash and just being like, how do I pay for this like Gukarachi couch? Like, she's like handing out over this money. This is prop motion picture money, everyone, by the way. And she, like, it literally says for motion picture use only. And anyway, so, but there's that kind of thing where it's like, ugh, this doesn't feel right. And then there's like Lisa Vanderpump who's like, oh, well, we had 25 restaurants and bars, and this is jiggy and hanky and panky, darling. Like, it's a completely different setup. You can just kind of see where like the kind of boastful craziness starts, and then where there's like kind of wealth whispers sort of thing, even though they're very like loud in their kind of extravagance.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, even just speaking of like my, rich white lady past of working with a lot of them, in New York, like 2 women that I know were approached to be on the show and like absolutely turned it down. one of them has been like featured, you know, for certain episodes as like like not even a friend of, like she's just at the thing, because she's friends with
Floating
Bethany.
around in the background.
Yeah, but like a lot of the people that I know are on that like whisper level where they were like, oh, we won't touch that show, you know, like we would
No.
never. So it's a very specific personality type that's willing to do it, because I think a lot of people like value their privacy, and like especially like really wealthy people, it's like the only thing they want to be in the paper for is for a wedding and a funeral, like nothing else, you know. Or if
And
they
maybe the Met.
or the Met, or yeah, some big donation, or if they're, you know,
Yeah.
if they've created some amazing company or something, they don't want to be
It's true.
written about for any other reason. So it's interesting, like the people that choose to do it. I know, like with Beverly Hills this season, have you heard any of the Kathy Hilton rumors?
Yes, I've heard. I mean, yes, I've heard there's been talks of her using certain slurs. There was an Australian slur that was used. There was a, a homophobic slur that was alleged to have been used, all allegedly. Uh, I don't know. I guess we'll see. It's difficult because I don't trust Rinna. Sorry if we ever end up being friends. It's just a little. If I ever end up in that Beverly Hills circle, I don't know. It's not that I don't.
He's trying
I'm
to keep
not
the
sure.
possibility open of friendship here. I get it, Nicholas. It's okay.
I'm trying to get some Rinna beauty. I want to test it out.
Oh my God, you should get like prosthetic lips and be like, rich white lady gets like lip injections.
I think that's the next step. I did the like pillow face filter on Instagram, but like definitely the next step is some sort of major prosthetics. I mean, I've done like a toilet paper wrap around my head, like Candice Bergman in The Women sort of thing. Like, oh, if I would smile right now if it wouldn't blow out 80 stitches. But I definitely prosthesis. I think that's the next one.
It has to be. But with Kathy, I mean, I'm sure I know you saw the trailer too. It was like when she's getting locked out of the store and she has her little like visor on, and like it's just like, I really do wonder what happened, and I'm sad if it did, because she was, again, a rich white lady that I met at work twice, and she was delightful, and like I loved interacting with her, and she was just like on, you know, on cloud nine and in her own world, but like very, very nice and very like personable and like not like dismissive in any way. So, you know, it's always a bummer to hear
Certainly
those
last
things.
season as well, I felt that she was the most hilarious. She made me laugh the most.
Oh my God.
Out just those, who is hunky dory? Just those random moments that were just unbelievably funny and kooky. So she really was that kind of breakout silly moment. So I think a lot of people, if it's true, are disheartened by the fact that like, oh, well, like our comic relief's kind of gone. It's all serious again. Um, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, I know the season's going to be great, but I don't want her to, I don't want to believe that she did anything bad until it happens. But like we've all heard those rumors, and you know, when there's smoke, there's fire usually, unfortunately. And actually, Paris Hilton is like the celebrity that I was most excited that followed me. Like it was like when I saw that, like, oh my God, like you can message Paris Hilton now. Like just having grown up with the simple life, like I was losing my mind. Who was like your favorite like celebrity TikTok follower that you just like your jaw dropped
God.
or comment?
You know, actually, I will just say maybe the moment was when Reese Witherspoon impersonated my impersonation of her. So she basically did the Big Little Lies trend, which is what it was called, and she's on the beach like with a wine glass in tow, and she like put the audio on, and then so I tweeted it. I was like, oh my God, Reese Witherspoon did this video like inspired by me, that was like inspired by her, and then she like quote tweeted it and she was like inspired by like that, and so that was like a moment where I was like, Reese Witherspoon knows who I am, like that was the, I think the like
That is literally iconic. And you know, I think that's another thing that's
yeah.
crazy about you is you have started a viral trend. Like you started like a very viral trend with that big. I love that the water glass you're sipping from. Anyone who's not watching on YouTube, it's a rich white lady water glass. It's like a total rich white lady vibe. Cheers.
Well, I went downstairs and I was like, I can't use this generic water glass. I was like, I need a stem glass immediately. And I was like, I was going to get ice, but then I was like, no, it's going to affect with the audio. Just hearing me like ding, ding, ding in the background. So I needed a stem glass. I had to give people something.
You're absolutely in character, but Reese is such a good one, and just starting a viral trend is so iconic. And I'm just glad to know you. But anyway, it has been an absolute delight having you on, Nicholas. Tell everyone where to find you and where. I know you have merch now, so tell everyone like all of your handles and everything like that.
Okay, well, definitely merch you can find at richwhiteladyshop.com, and TikTok you can find me at Nicholas_Flannery, Instagram Nicholas Flannery, and Twitter Nick_Flannery, because it won't allow you the most characters. And YouTube, just Nicholas Flannery is on there, but we're working on getting that a little bit off the ground.
Oh my God. Yeah, well, YouTube's a beast. But anyway, Nicholas, thank you so much. And
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
it's been a delight.